Federalist paper number 3 says, same subject continued, so I think it's dangers from foreign influence. The people of any country continue for years to have erroneous opinions regarding their interests. Once again, not a great picture for individual human beings here, not a great portrait of human nature being painted for us. But the author cannot come out and say, you, dear reader, are a selfish idiot, I'd rather you not exist. The author can't say that, so the author has to say things like, the people of any country continue for years to have erroneous opinions regarding their interests, instead of saying, dear reader, you are an idiot. Americans have long believed in union, and here's a question that's going to go on forward through this paper, which is, which will cause more wars, a lowercase, I believe, United States of America or a disunited States of America? And that's a useful distinction that I think we see here pretty much for the first time. It might have been earlier, who cares? But a United States of America, so united is there being treated as a predicate. United States of America. Where are you from? I'm from the States of America. Really? What state? Where are you from? I'm from the United States of America. A lot of people will make arguments here on this, but it's a question that occurs over and over again as humans. Is when does a predicate become a part of the noun? But it's useful for us to note that we're talking about a lowercase united, I believe, United States of America or a disunited States of America. What's going to cause more wars? You can already imagine, given that what's already been said and what's going to happen in the future, that they're going to argue that one central government is going to cause more wars, cause fewer wars than separate governments. That's the argument. Argument for a central power. United will give rise to fewer wars. Therefore, union tends to preserve the people. And so we are at this base level. It's about war. It's about survival. We haven't mentioned anything about anything. Beautiful work here. We have just causes of war, violations of treaties or direct violence. America had at that time 6 treaties with maritime nations. What is more likely to violate those 6 treaties? One united form of government or the disunited States of America with 13 different causes? So the statement here is, one national government can control relations with foreign nations better than 13 states or 3 or 4 confederacies. Here, I think we have to say, he goes off on a little discursion about getting the best people to serve in the government. And here, he believes that under one national government, you're more likely to have the best men consenting to serve. You're more likely to have the best men appointed to manage affairs. The men that are appointed to manage those affairs are going to have a more general and extensive reputation. If you had 13 separate territories or 3 or 4 confederacies, it would be possible for men who were not the best to be appointed to manage. It would be possible for men without the best reputations to serve. Having a united form of government will allow a wider field of choice, the widest possible field of choice, from which to draw those best men who can be appointed to manage the affairs of this collected people on this collected ground. Hard to argue against this. The administration, political councils, judicial decisions will be more wise for a national government than those of individual states. The administration, political councils, judicial decisions will therefore be more satisfactory to other nations and therefore more safe for us. All of this can be blown up, just for me to go off on a rant, all of this can be blown up internationally. I don't like to do that because I'm not a big fan of a one world government. But it's hard to argue against a one-world government, given the arguments that are placed here in the Federalist Papers, if you just substitute world for and you make a level change. If you just make that one level change, then every argument they're arguing for here is that there should be no national boundaries, essentially. That if you want to have a boundary between Iran and Iraq, let's say, that boundary should be sort of a state line as opposed to a country line. Interesting ideas. A national government is less likely to be affected by local circumstances. Temptations are going to arise from the territories in which people live, and it's going to muddy the waters more than if you have people going to serve some sort of a united locus of power. Going on the point of treaties, designed and accidental violations of treaties are a just cause of war. So here's the problem that we're facing, and it's human nature, but now we've stepped up to the level of a collection of groups called states. And further still, a collection of groups called not states, but rather a federal government, that a violation of a treaty is going to cause war to break out. 13 different territories are more likely to violate those 6 existing maritime treaties than one federal government. Why is that? Because each of those 13 territories is motivated by local interests. So it's the same argument that you make about individuals, but it's just taken that one level up. You get one level up more abstract. So certain predicates like blonde hair, high cheekbones, certain predicates like blonde hair, high cheekbones become inoperable on that upper level. It makes no sense to say of a state that it has blonde hair, but it makes sense of an individual to say that an individual has blonde hair. So a wider set of predicates, it seems, can be attached to an individual than as opposed to a collection of individuals, but nevertheless, certain predicates can be attached to a group of individuals. So you have situations, interests peculiar to each of the 13 territories. And those 13 territories, sort of regarded as individuals, are going to have a wide range of reasons to violate a treaty and therefore cause a war with another nation. And the idea with a central government is to provide one unified voice to that foreign power, and any disagreements, possible treaty violations, that's actually going to express itself as a disagreement between united citizens. We're arguing, me and A and B are arguing with ourselves, so England, chill out for a minute. Me and A and B are going to go straighten up our own house. We're going to clean our own room. And then we're going to come back to you here tomorrow. We're going to be in agreement, and that way you'll know we'll be able to go forward. And if you don't have some kind of a mechanism for two people or two states or whatever to unite, then the individual prejudices of those collections of individuals, much like the prejudices of individuals themselves, will operate in a huge way with unintended consequences, and all of a sudden you can find yourself right back where you began, sending people off, people dying, and that's not a way to have a good government.